Mhm. Right, here we go. I did the markups for you guys, which I think was helpful, but you can let me know. Um, I know it's a lot. Right, so we are currently tracking to translate these lines right here. We have just discovered or just looked at Theros. Where is he? He's up here. With the strength of his father, blowing giant holes through the door and knocking the doors off the posts and just general chaos and madness as he is wont to do. And because he's such an epic hero, Virgil's going to make an epic simile about him. And that is the non-Seek here. So he is comparing him to not unlike, I think literally is like non-Seek is not otherwise thus. But I think one of your comrades was like, Miss Campbell, I think not unlike is better. I'm like, okay, it's fine. All right, not unlike. Now, the cum here is a cum clause. So when you translate cum clauses, remember they can be when, since, like, or although. And I think here the best one is when. Not unlike when. Then you pick up your subject, which is the spumantis omnis. Omnis means river. Spumantis means foaming. When, I guess, a foaming river. Okay. With, so you can pick up the verb first. And I know often say you go to your blue box and your red circle, and that certainly does get things by. But you have these ablatives sort of hanging out here, and the ablatives, and they honestly can be done before or after the verb, generally speaking. It's fine either way. They're going to add some sort of like adjectival phrase to this. So with the burst riverbanks, I'd see it literally go out. And it could go either way. So you could say just like or not unlike when a foaming river with burst riverbanks goes out, or just or not unlike when a foaming river goes out with burst riverbanks. You can see how it can happen either way. Now I know that these words have to go before the quay because the quay is there. So the quay is going to act as a roadblock. um, so we can say goes out, that's the exit, with burst river banks. So we're talking about, and notice that he says spumes. And so it's not just like a flooded river, but one that is foaming. So they would consider whitewater foaming. So an extremely violently rushing river. All right. So it bursts its riverbanks, and then quay means and. And um now between the quay and the comma, there's only a verb. There's no new subject. So the subject is going to be in the verb here. So, and it, in this case, it's a river. And I don't think we'd ever call it anything other than it. Okay, a wicket. Do you see Winka? What do you guys know? You know, Julius Caesar, Witty Witty Wiki. I came, I saw it conquered. So this is just conquers or overcomes. And it overcomes the oppositas moles. Do you see the direct object? So that's what you need to pick up next. The it's not like opposing boulders, but like the placed in the way boulders. The uh the um overcomes the boulders placed in its way. Like there's got to be a better way to say that. Okay. I don't know. Moles means boulders. Like making a mountain out of a molehill, well, they're making it a molehill. It's boulder. Okay. So the oppositas means like oppositional boulders, but they're not like oppositional. They're just in the way. So and it overcomes the boulders placed in its way. And Gurgite is one that we've seen before with a whirlpool. Um, and here what we mean is like the river itself is like these, it's overcoming boulders, and it's so fast and it's so fierce that it's pushing the boulders out of its way. Oh, sorry. So not unlike when a foaming river goes out with burst riverbanks and overcomes the boulders placed in its way, with a whirlpool. Okay. Next line. Excuse me. And okay, we've had the comma. So now we're here, ferentor. Now I noticed, goodness, excuse me, that the ferentor to the quay. All right, so we're looking at, again, the quay is going to block things. We have a comma here, so use the punctuation and use the grammar. There is a nominative. It's furens, but furens is an adjective. Okay, and notice it's in the nominative and it is singular, just like this is nominative and singular. And so it's actually going to be modifying omnes. Furens, if you guys remember, means raging. So, and raging, there's no and there. Raging, ferentur, fero, feri, tulilatis, it carries into the fields. Oh my goodness. It carries into the fields like with swelling, by swelling. And you're going here, it carries the boulders. Okay, so it overcomes and it carries the boulders into the fields. All right. Raging, it carries the boulders understood. B-O-U-L-D, boulders into the fields with a swell. Does that make sense? Like rivers swell, like the ocean. You have swells, don't you? Swells, like where everything. I think that's right. We're just gonna go with that's right. With like like the water's going up. Okay, with a kulina, with like a increase in water. Okay, now you pick up the quay and okay. Now we still have, by the way, we still don't have another subject, right? Furens came up, but it didn't give us another subject. It's just pulling this subject down so that we're still dealing with the same river, right? It's a foaming river, now it's a raging river. And per campos omnes, through all the fields. Okay, there's your direct prepositional phrase, direct object, or well, accusative and prepositional phrase. And it, oh wait, let's just do this. And through all the fields, okay, and through all the fields, campos omnis, cum stabilibus armentia trahit. All right, so again, we have the period here, so we know that things are going to stop here. We have the quay there, but the first verb we get is here. And through all the fields, trahit, traho, trahere, it drags. It drags the armenta, the herd, the animal group, I don't know, the herd, and then you have your cum here, cum stabulus, with the stable. So this river is so impressive and so crazy that it has not only burst its banks, but it has picked up boulders and throw them into fields and is dragging off an entire herd. And apparently with the stable that it's on too. This isn't normal, right? Rivers don't do this. We're talking about massive destructive forces here, like hurricane-like forces. And this is what he's comparing Pheres to. So Pheres would be the river, and of course the fields and the destruction would be all of the Trojan stuff in his way. We could even argue that the herd is going to be Priam and his daughters, and the stable that is being dragged with him is the palace. So when you're asked to compare and contrast a metaphor or a simile, I should say, like that would be some of the comparisons that you should make. Okay. Notice the change here, the subject change. We went from it to I. And this is done to increase pathos, right? I saw. So Aeneas himself is now putting himself into this narrative. And it's not just I saw, I myself. I myself saw. And you need a direct object. I saw what? I saw ferentum. Notice that the ferentum is modified up here with the ferens. Do you see that? That's the polyptoton. Virgil's using the same adjective to describe both Neoptolemus and the river, Amnes. And notice he gives him the second name here. He gives him Neoptolemus instead of Pyrrhus, which is up here. Pyrrhus is up here. All right, it's almost like this new name, this Neoptolemus name, is making him stronger. So I myself saw Neoptolemus raging. All right, raging, Florentim. Raging how? And now we have the Cade. How is he raging? Well, he's raging in a slaughter. Like, he's really happy to be killing things. Raging in slaughter. Okay. And remember the quay is there. And in limine, on the threshold, the Atreides Geminos, the twins of Atreus. Right, and remember, who are the twins of Atreus? Menelaus and Agamemnon. Okay, and they're not actually twins, they're just brothers. All right, so you're seeing Neoptolemus, Menelaus, and Agamemnon all storming the walls, and not just the regular walls, the innermost sanctum of Troy. All right, now we're getting just to the last couple lines. All right, there are your lines. Don't forget you have a quiz next class. You feel free to email me with any questions.